And I relate to many of the things that Anne-Valerie has mentioned. And it's really interesting because in the world that I live in, international security, I think that a lot of the things do need to be changed when it comes to leadership, because elements like servant leadership have not arrived and landed there. And I think that the role of women will also play a key role in changing the world in this way, in this area. I think I haven't. Yeah, it is. Is it? Okay. I think that one of the things to also keep in mind is, for example, I'm a female deputy director, and the first few months I spent at the center, I saw that many of my colleagues, which a lot of them were at the time men and were experts in different areas. Some were diplomats, some were people from the military, others from international organizations. They were not quite sure what to do with me. And so I know that they didn't know how to address me. Even the military were very, very, nervous. So it took really some months for them to see that actually it's not a problem to report to a civilian, and that actually we can all learn from one another. And I think that this was really one of the key elements where we could role model different types of leadership within the organization to bring people on board that there are different ways of leading, and that so my predecessor, we had a different style of leadership. It doesn't mean that we always have to stay the same. And I think that in the world that absolutely has challenges and opportunities that are very complex, interconnected, but we also face a situation of polycrisis. It's not longer one crisis after the other. We have to handle so many crises at the same time. And the speed of change is also bigger than it was, even some decades ago. I think that especially in the area of international security and also the diplomatic arena, there is a leadership crisis. And I think there is different aspects of leadership that we need to learn again, others that we maybe need to unlearn. And there's also certain things that need to be rethought in a more fundamental way. And when you look at what's happening currently in international security with the deterioration of major power relations that threaten what we have really built up over the last decades in multilateral cooperation, but also this increase of interest rate wars and regional conflict, the speed of light of the development of emerging technology that impact the way, wars are addressed and fought, but also the challenges that the UN has with facing many of these normative agendas that they had, just like, for example, also the Women, Peace and Security agenda, that is now seeing and facing pushback again from certain countries such as Russia and China, but these are not the only one, really makes me think that we still have a lot of way to go, so that we don't go back into, giving up some of the progressive thinking that we've had. And how does GCSP contribute to it? The GCSP was created in the middle of the Cold War, working with mainly diplomats and people from the military, in making them experts in so that they can participate in these disarmament talks after the Geneva summit in 1985. But over the years, it really has to evolve and be really much more inclusive. Inclusive in many different ways. It's not just looking at disarmament, but looking at all other aspects of international security, like human security, also peace building, peace operations. So it's a much more holistic approach. The other thing also to be in terms of more inclusivity would be the different stakeholders. So making sure that we don't have military and diplomats just be the only one leading it, but really have this inclusive approach, including civil society, where women are highly represented, international organizations, NGOs, and more the private sector. And I think the focus now in the last few years has really been very much to also increase the participation of women, not just in international peace processes, but in international security overall. And I think that it's been the way the GCSP operated very much in this more diplomatic way, also of doing everything face to face, was a way that something that blocked bringing more women to our courses, to our offerings. And I think that COVID, with the many difficulties it's brought to us, was also a breakthrough moment, because what we had to do very quickly is to put all our offerings in a virtual format. And although I had huge resistance also internally, because, so to speak, we cannot teach our content, in a virtual space. You need to have the interpersonal relationship. What we have found out that it really increased our impact and inclusivity in a way that I didn't even myself think was possible, because all of a sudden we had a huge participation of women, of participants from the Global South, and of people in conflict zones that could not even leave their countries. So it's in terms of impact, in terms of changing the world in the way that Kofi Annan also said that education is, simply speaking, peace building by another name, is really something that I think is really important for the future of peace in the world. And women play a really key role. So when we now started, some of the courses are back face to face. One of the things that I saw is that the participation of women and participation of the Global South went back to pre-COVID percentages. So I thought, okay, this cannot happen. So again, I had to really push and work against resistance, and have now made changes in such a way that we get the best of both worlds, that we get from the virtual and the face-to-face. And I've so therefore adapted the courses to have a more blended approach, really allowing women to participate even in 2 months long courses, in 8 months long courses, which is quite difficult if you have to leave your home, your caring roles for such a long time. So bringing this virtual component to it, so that they can come to Geneva for a certain period of time, but also attend this course, has really made a huge difference. And we've reached in certain courses up to 64% of female participation. And I think that this is what we have to continue, because women are really very present on levels. Maybe we don't see them on peace negotiation tables and peace talks, but they play a key role in the civil society and in what we call track 2, which is more the expert level that feeds into the more official one. And it's really important to give them access and give them a voice. I think that through education and through institutions like the GCSP, where we bring everyone together, and where we really are, we're also IGC champions. So we do not attend panels where there are no women. It's more difficult to find them, but we can do that. You just need to look for it. And I think that with the leadership of more women, we can also have a bigger impact in making a more peaceful world.
Thank you.